Hello, February 2nd, 2025. Still here on Mother Earth, watching the planets as they appear to travel around us, reflecting back what's going on Mother Earth. During this winter, we've experienced this big shift of Pluto into Aquarius from Capricorn. Aquarius is far less stable, as we are seeing. During this big shift this winter, we've also seen an extreme focus in the solar system on Mars and the sign it rules, Aries. Mars has been retrograde all winter. It turned retrograde in Leo in November, and it's been slowly retrograding back ever since. When a planet is retrograde, from our vantage point on Earth, it looks like that planet is turning backwards in motion, or retrograding in motion. And the symbolic function of that planet energy is drawn to it. We are totally involved with it and focused on it, and usually a disruptive and challenging way. The energy is very much accentuated of the planet that is turning and moving retrograde in motion. So Mars that symbolizes men, masculinity. As Venus symbolizes females, Mars symbolizes males, and male things traditionally. So Mars symbolizes competitiveness and fighting and aggression and even war. When harnessed, Mars symbolizes our work energy. It is fires, it symbolizes fires and explosions and competitiveness, sporting activity, for example. This is the planet Mars. So we've had Mars retrograde, now it's in Cancer, moving back to 17 degrees of Cancer. All the fires we've been having, the focus on these Mars things, planes exploding and colliding and having extreme experience, fires, war, drawing a lot of attention from us humans on this planet. Now, Neptune's also moving into Aries, and Saturn's also moving into Aries. Again, the sign that is ruled by Mars, associated with either new starts, new beginnings, competitiveness, war, all of those Mars things. New beginnings, however, the positive side of Aries and Mars. But Mars, as it turns direct at the 23rd of February, and we can be hopeful. Historically, when Mars turns direct after being retrograde for periods of time, we usually see wars that are ongoing either stop or change in some way, that there's potentially less fighting. Energies of Mars tend to be harnessed and used for productive use after Mars turns direct, far more. So by the time we get into March and April, especially April, this Mars energy should be moving in a normal fashion. But we also see, at the point at which Mars stops and sits stationary at 17 degrees of Cancer, on the 23rd of February, Venus turns retrograde in the sign Aries, and Mercury turns retrograde in the sign Aries 10 days later. So again, we're still getting this great focus on competitiveness. Now, Venus is female issues, or a specific female that's doing something of interest. And the world's attention is usually drawn to this female energy and focused away when Venus is retrograde, which lasts a month. Much a shorter period than Mars. Mercury is usually retrograde as well for 1 month. And this again is where, from our vantage point, the planet is appearing to move backwards, so its function tends to either be more intense or not functioning well. When all of the internet systems were down dramatically in the fall, that was the day Mercury turned retrograde. And again, Mercury symbolizes communications and the internet, paperwork, all communications, agreements, trade agreements if we are at that point by then, God willing. Mercury will be retrograde all through April, and then it'll be direct. By the latter part of April, it's turning around. So again, we've got a great focus on either new beginnings, new starts, potentially constructive new beginnings, or we've got to focus on using all of this energy that is collectively we're talking about on war issues, competitive issues, and fighting. It's choice. What's interesting is this big focus and accent on Mars. We also see that the new president has Mars on the horizon at birth. A part of his nature that is very assertive, very competitive. Ascending sign in a birth chart symbolizes how we behave and how we react into the world, how we get along with the world, the manifestation of our outer personality traits. And Mars symbolizes Donald Trump's outer personality traits. And with Mars retrograde, he is starting this experience of president the second time, manifesting this initiation of war. Now Mars is going to stop at 17 degrees and square his birth Jupiter. He was born with Jupiter in the second house, the house of finances. And Mars will be squaring Jupiter in his birth chart, squaring Jupiter for 21 days, from the 23rd of February till the 8th of March. Something to observe clearly in his attitude and his behaviors around finances. There will be some very distorted, extreme activity. So as I would say normally at any given time in history, when Mercury's retrograde or when Venus is retrograde, take care, be patient, don't assume that whatever turns out to be seemingly fixed and in place during the retrograde period, there's a very good chance it will shift and change and everything will look differently after the planet turns direct. So I'm deriving hope from the fact that Mars will be direct by the end of February, and then we have 1 month of Venus and Mercury retrograde, and then they too will be direct. And presumably life will be a little less challenging for some of us, for most of us hopefully. Hopefully there'll be less war activity and less competitiveness. Or maybe just more harnessed into positive experience. Take care, be patient, and keep a sense of humor if possible.